The Great Debaters Contest is powered by Blaze, by Safaricom, the Youth Network.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Eldoret region of the Great Debaters Contest. I am your host, Austin Yumbok. Our motion today is the media should cap political advertising by candidates and political parties during elections. We have Wareng High School and Moi Girls Eldoret. Who will take the debate? We don't know. First proposer, take the stage.
Kenyans, ladies and gentlemen, Jeff Gerald from Wareng High School. 2,600 years ago, on a penicillin judging at the Mediterranean Sea, a group of people were tired and sick of the tyrannical forces that was ruining their lives and not giving them a chance to speak. So they came up with this form of debate. That's why I strongly stand today to propose this motion that states media should cap political advertising by political candidates and parties. What is media? Media is giving out information to a large group of people, whereas advertising is telling people about your product or services. In this case, political advertising is using the media to air out your views about elections and campaigns. Well, I would like to ask a question. How many of us here would like to be ruled by one person day in, day out? I guess no one. We have some leaders who are still in their leadership roles up to today until death do them apart. This leads me to my point. It discourages monopoly. In this case, monopoly by we have political parties that rule the media house. The Bill of Rights, that is the Chapter 4 of the Constitution, subclause 38, 1A and B, which gives fundamental freedom of speech. If we curb political advertising in our countries today, let me tell you one thing. We are going to reduce negative messages. I have a friend. My friend lives in Bungoma. He's a true Kenyan. But there's only one problem with him. He goes around Bungoma town chanting negative messages about their governor. He got arrested recently on cases of hate speech and incitement. Let me tell you one thing. If we cap political advertising, we are going to reduce incitement, negative messages, hate speech, and as the President of America quotes it, fake speech. As I conclude, politics is quite expensive, even to use a lot of money to lose. Thank you.
First opposer, you have 3 minutes.
I wake up every morning, and the first thing I switch on is my cell. What is on the platforms, politics, and the ongoing campaigns? Media, basically. What is media? Media, many ways, it's basically the many ways of transmitting information, giving information to the people. Media does not only include, media includes television, that is audiovisual. We don't forget the print media, that is the newspapers, and also social media on platforms such as Instagram and Twitter. My name is Ambrose Esther Awinda, and on to my first point. Media provides a platform for candidates to introduce themselves. They're able to air the manifestos. We're able to know what they're planning for us, what they have planned for us in their manifestos. The media helps us to be able to know what they're planning for us, basically. On to my second point. The media is like an eye to the public, whereby I don't have to follow the politicians up to where they're holding their rallies. I just wake up using the newspaper, using my phone. I'm able to know what is going on. I'm able to be informed. I'm able to make a decision on who is going to be voted in as my leader. And it also acts as a major check, whereby the media, if limited, it won't help the leaders to be more accountable. If it's limited, whereby if it is not limited, the leaders will be able to know that everyone is watching, everyone is making a decision. We have to be accountable at the end of it. I'm supposed to be responsible and accountable. So if it is limited, not everyone will, there's a big number of undecided voters. And lastly, we really need to know who our leaders are. We can't limit the media because it helps us to know them very well. We don't know what the leader has planned for us. Everything that is going on, the media, we have different platforms of the media that help us to know what is going on in the country. For example, for those people who are not literate enough to understand the English, there are vernacular stations for them to understand. Basically, as I conclude, we can't limit the media. Thank you.
Second proposer, you have 3 minutes for your rebuttal.
My name is Kandi Kolum from Wareng High School, and our school is situated next to a very busy highway. Time and again, our lessons are disrupted because of the campaign trucks that pass by our school, the music. I think you should pay our class a visit one of these good days, because time and again, you will see the students vibrating to the tune on their seats. It's just ridiculous. This brings me to my first point, pollution. These campaign advertisements have brought about pollution, lots of pollution, in fact. When I go home during the evening, I find posters that are non-biodegradable, something that Wangari Maathai fought for, that saw her effort really known that she won the Nobel Prize. Why should we see her efforts go down the drain just because of some campaign? When I open my Facebook page and my Twitter handle, I find political news streaming in. That's not what I wanted to see. I wanted to see Serena Williams' husband, the great tennis player. The second point is reduce election costs. My great cheerleader tells me that politics is so expensive that it takes a lot of money to be defeated. I wonder how much money it costs to just see a chopper on the air. For 1 hour, the fact that I have got is that it takes 80,000 for one to hire a chopper for it to last on the air for like an hour for you to campaign. We are taxpayers. Our parents work and they pay tax. This is the same money that is used for the political advertisements. Britain, for example. Britain, each campaigner is allocated 5,000 to 6,000 sterling pounds for their campaign. In Kenya, can we hold our leaders accountable for every single penny they use during their campaigns? No. I really doubt if we can. Does this money drop from the sky like manna so that they can squander it during their campaigns? I really doubt. That only happened during the time of Moses. My name is Kandi Kolum from Wareng High.
Second opposer, you have 3 minutes for your rebuttal.
One question I ask myself, or rather, what I tell myself. Political stability, or in any case, harmony, is a social investment of the society. So ask yourself a question. How? How does this media bring about this pollution that my colleague says it does? Because as far as I'm concerned, we have social media. Get on your phone. You want to find out about what your leaders want to do for you during their reign. They want to tell you, this is what I want to give you. This is what I want to do for you. This is what we want to do over here so that there would be this development. Let's move forward. Let's move this way. So we log onto this social media. If you want to find out about the leaders, you can check on the leaders. If you want to find out about sports, you can check on the sports. If you want to find out about food, hair, check on that. So it's your opinion, it's your decision as a citizen of this Republic of Kenya to go onto that social site, go onto that channel on TV, go onto that radio station on the radio, go to that newspaper, flip to that page, check on it, decide, I want to know what this is. According to the reviewed Constitution of Kenya, the free flow of media is a right to each citizen and cannot or should not be controlled. So people need to know what is going on. People need to know which leader is an aspirant, which person coming from my region wants to vie for this position. Should I vote for him or her? Should I decide whether this is good or this is bad? They air out their manifestos and you have a chance to see what they want to do for you. So you assess, you think about it, and you're like, okay, fine. This is a better leader. This would take me somewhere. This would take our country somewhere. This would take my county somewhere. Then the media, basically, it shows transparency and accountability. It shows things as they are. So again, you have a chance to think about it, then choose who you want to take. There's accountability. If in any case we have wrong information being given out, there would be there's a self-regulatory system that requires that the media should retract any wrong information given, if at all it is given. Then we have voter education. Voter education, you know when to vote, how to vote, why to vote. This is democracy. And as citizens of this country, I believe that the media just helps us know how to exercise our democracy, our rights, and what leaders would take us forward. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your questions. The proposers have been asked how digital media contributes to pollution, and the opposers have been asked, is it that only through political advertising does the electorate get to know about their democratic right? The third proposer to answer the questions.
I'd like to tell my friend Ziak that yes, this is not only an answer but also an advice to you. Social media can do corrupt or pollute the mind of someone. What if the one posting or the one responsible for the post in social media is very biased to a political party or to a political person? Thank you. One thing that is mine, but you are the users, is my name. I'm Donvin Sopio from Wareng High School. I'd like to tell my colleagues that one thing that this, if we not curb the political advertisement during election year, is information overdose. Let me tell you of a story. The other day I was walking home and I found a dog with a sticker on its back. I almost asked it, oh dog, are you supporting this man? But sorry dog, because some politicians have come up with a way of sticky posters. This overdose, there's nowhere even to place the posters, because even these days, someone can even place a poster on you. That's why my father the other day wore a shirt written, no posters. This leads me to my second point, which is apathy. Apathy is lack of interest to something. And information overdose can make you lack interest on the media. May it be social, may it be written, may it be online media. I'd like to tell my colleagues, the issue to deal with pollution does not only concentrate with environmental, does not only concentrate with air, but also, as she said, noise pollution. And here I've mentioned pollution for the mind. And let me tell you, when we just persuade people to vote for someone because he was just aired on the television throughout for a very long time, then that's not the right choice. We should be the people for our own choice, not following the one who is very famous or the one who is not very famous. And this can only be reduced by curbing the information. Another thing I'd like to say, this is an advice that makes me go to the third point. When you want to build a house, you want an uncommon engineer. When you want to be treated, you want an uncommon doctor. But why? When it comes to the media, you always want common information. Think of this, friends. When we do not curb, we will look biased. Because bias is when you concentrate onto something, and let's not concentrate much to politics. Thank you.
May we have the third opposer take the stage? You have 3 minutes.
Karen Lamaon Moi Girls High School. I've sat there and I decided to think, and I reflected a Kenya without technology. You know what? I got scared. I am scared. A Kenya without this media. Because if we come to think on that point, I would love to answer your question. Advertisements are not the only way that you can be educated, that you can know about Kenya, how, when, and where on the politics. But we can't neglect the fact that our constitution has provided for an unbiased and accountable electoral commission, the IEBC to be specific. They use media, by the way, to educate us because it's their function. And they educate us through media. You know, you open the newspaper, the part on advertisements, and you find something on IEBC. They say, you're going to vote on this day. These are the seats that you're going to vote for. This is how you vote. And I agree they send people out there. But have you decided and sat down? I think that it's much cheaper for IEBC to use print media, to use social media. It's not the only way, but we're not going to neglect the fact that it is one main way. Luckily, today in Kenya, it is cheap, by the way. Do you know 100+ million visit the websites every day? Do you know that 100+ million people visit social media? It is becoming cheaper. You can imagine, I can just go there on my Twitter handle, as a candidate, post what I'm going to do for my people, and I can get public views. This makes their ideas and manifestos there for criticism. It places a platform for public criticism. We can give them how we feel, because everyone, let us think about this. We're not going into election for us. We're not going into election for them, sorry. It's for us. It's for our nation. It is us who are going to suffer the consequences of what we make. Then, this is also a source of employment to many, a source of public revenue, and this is working on the Kenya economy, which we have to remember is at stake in all our decisions. Then, the constitution that was voted in 2010 has been praised for increasing media freedom. I'd love to inform you today that when the constitution was changed, they also catered for the fact that there has to be accountability in that Part 2, Article 34 of the Kenyan Constitution, the freedom of media. It has given that the media is allowed to express. We're allowed to express ourselves through the media. But remember, it has also ensured that as we express ourselves, it has limited the right to propaganda, incitement, and hate speech. So if you have those, that freedom will be limited. But otherwise, we are fulfilling our constitutional rights by expressing ourselves through media. I really stand. We can't curb this media. It's us looking at our politicians through the media. It is important. Thank you.
The proposing team, you have 1 minute for your final submission.
A problem once foreseen is easy to counter. This advertising has become very rampant. It has become a cancer to our society. First being that pollution is a cancer to our society. We have polluted minds. Anytime you open a newspaper, the headline is politics, politics, politics. We have even forgotten that we have other news in our country. Let me tell you one thing, Kenyans. If there is a way to come up with an instrument called an advertisometer or even a mediometer, I'll be glad I'll be glad, very glad, to support that person to raise the funds to come up with this instrument. As I conclude, I want to remind you something. A great man by the name Charles Darwin came up with a theory of evolution, which states that some organisms had some organs in their bodies, but because they were not useful, they were extinct. For example, we humans had a tail. Let us open our eyes to see the truth of what is in our media today, so that in future we do not tell our children, my child, we did not open our eyes to see the truth, so our eyes got extinct. Thank you.
Opposition, you have 1 minute to make your final submission.
Luckily, there are many great men in history, right? So, Abraham Lincoln said, let us not seek for the blame on the past, but accept responsibility for the future. We talk about pollution, and do you know what? I'm a Kenyan. If you ask me about Kenya, I'll definitely support my country. So, Kenyans are responsible. The campaigns do not last forever. We will clean up immediately after. The media there is for our greater good. It's doing this, it's a favor to us, the public. Remember that, it is our nation. You know what? I'm excited because I'm in Form 4. I'm going out there. And I'm really happy because I'm going to vote in 2022. Because I'm ready to vote. And I'm happy. I won't have to follow the leaders around. Because what? I'll have social media, I'll have print media, I'll have every kind of media. So I will follow up, I will assess on my leaders, and I will choose better leaders for my better Kenya. Then, with this, let us think of this for us. Don't think for yourself. Our national philosophy, Africanism, says, for the greater good. So, for a greater Kenya people.
Moi girls, who happen to be your host, and I want to start with Awinda. Awinda, that was a good start for your team. I think you started off very well. I don't know what happened to you as you proceeded on. There was stage fright. That's normal, okay? So, and I think what was commendable is that you just took yourself back, and you managed to at least continue on and submit your submissions. Good mastery of language, and good submissions as well. Just work on that. With practice, it disappears. Sanelwa, is it? That's you? You're very confident. I think that's something that comes out very well, and I think the way you're composed on stage, fair cross-examination, good submissions, and I think the aspect of you talking about citizen rights and it's a choice was very commendable. Good speaker as well. Karen, good role playing as well as that speaker and submissions, and I think for you as a team, you could have decided to take different angles. We're talking about the media capping political advertising, and you as the opposition probably could have said the media cannot regulate themselves. Probably they need legislation, or the government should be the one taking that up. That could have been an angle, but it chose to tell us, no, let it flow as it is, which is still okay, but I think you'd have played around with it so you can even get more submissions, all right? And what does this do? The question is why? Why should we cap? Does it, at the end of it all, affect the objectivity of how citizens decide? Is this unfair for some citizens who cannot afford to pay media for such things and want to vie for political parties? I think it could have been even more emotive, emotionally engaging us, so that it could be more persuasive, so there could have been more desired, all right?
Wareng, my name is Judge Frida. Jeff was quite a good debater, though there were small things like tense, or you said, or it was a bit of wanging, tied or tired, something like that. But you're a very good debater. We go to Karen. Actually, you have a lot of confidence, and I really enjoyed the debate. Very good confidence, good illustrations, but maybe one thing, Wangari Maathai didn't focus much on noise pollution. She did actually, the NEMA did more on this, and that's why it's supposed to be regulated. You also said something like chopper on air. It's in the air. But actually a very good debater. Opio, you are humorous. At least I got to smile, and also a good debater.
Straight to the results. Moi Girls, Eldoret. The judges awarded you 68%. Please give them a round of applause. Wareng High School, the judges saw it fit to award you 70%. You're our winners for the debate. We'd like to congratulate Wareng High School for their win, and we'd also like to thank you, our studio audience, for being very active. And our viewers back home, keep watching. I've been your host, Austin Yumbok.
The Great Debaters Contest is powered by Blaze, by Safaricom, the Youth Network.